here again with another night of SmackDown WWE Raw with your host, Vic Joseph and
Corey Michaels.
And tonight we have a huge showdown in GMCS 313 BA 405, another night of WWE Raw SmackDown Live. Before the fight begins, we'll start to give you a little bit of the lineup of who we're going to see tonight, and specifically about what WWE and what it really is all about. I'm going to send it over to Corey right now with a little bit of the details.
In 2013, WWE actually surpassed all other entertainment, including HBO, Comedy Central.
You're kidding me, Corey. I remember watching WWE when I first grew up, and that was way back in the day when I started watching on my 12-inch black and white. But you know, from ever since then, most of the success that WWE's ever seen that could be attributed to Vince McMahon, the boy.
I'm gonna drop a little bomb. I've got a challenge for you, Rock. Rock, can you still bring it? Rock, are you still worthy of being called the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today?
Around 1970, Vince joined his father in starting his own entrepreneurial thing with wrestling.
Right now you have to pay for pay-per-view or even a live subscription to watch WWE. But when it first originated, all WWE was posted on local community television stations.
Now, there were a lot of ups, but we all know that there's got to be some downs at some point. So unfortunately, in 1988, competition among several different wrestling competitors, such as World Championship Wrestling, had lured many stars away from WWF, causing a temporary dip in steady ratings over the...
When this occurred, instead of letting it hinder his ability, Vince McMahon took it as a positive and used it for his competitive advantage, where he started using muscle hulks, scantily clad women, and sometimes cosmetically enhanced beauties to try to rejuvenate the whole business and spark the audience ratings. And in doing so, it led to having claimed over 35 million fans.
Wow, and all that happened during the 1990s.
A good one here right now with The Rock and Steve Austin, but...
I actually think he's a good actor, but yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think he might whoop his ass.
And those denim jeans, they definitely look flexible.
1999, shortly after going public, the launch of an 8-team football league called XFL kicked off, but fell shortly after due to below average television ratings after just the first week.
Someone might like to call that diversifying our portfolio, but even still, trying to have the XFL against a big NFL conglomerate, that's almost having like a fight between The Rock and Macho Man Randy Savage. So graceful on those beams too.
And in 2002, WWF actually became WWE as we know it today because they went through a lawsuit and they ended up having to change their name. But it was great for rebranding.
Along with that rebranding move, now WWE has become what it is today, where it's a little bit more focused on the storyline, soap opera, kind of enhanced entertainment with very strong plot lines and a lot of plot twists. And I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of that tonight. You'd love to see it.
Vince began to change the entire focus of the wrestling shows by looking at television soap operas for enhancing the entertainment value of his live events. With the Roadshow, all of the WWE's live events, including those that are used for the two long-standing weekly shows, Raw and SmackDown, as well as the newer ones that are held in different cities.
But from what I've heard, all the money that comes from just tickets and merchandise sold at these shows is almost only enough just to cover the cost of production. Kind of sketchy to me, Corey.
Yeah, you're actually totally right, but did you also know that the live shows give 6 hours of content that can be used for original television programming? 6 hours! That's crazy! Which in turn grows the base for pay-per-view and video-on-demand programming. Currently, you can actually find all this programming on Hulu+. Wow, what have we come to? It's basically, you can get it anywhere.
4 combos.
Man,
Back to
brutal
back.
attack.
That just reminds me of when I was in Europe actually last summer, and I was all the way overseas, and I was actually commentating on WWE SmackDown right live and out of Munich, Germany. Did you know that also is because there's over 70 locations around the world that actually stream SmackDown and Raw now?
What's next? The moon? Oh, he's got his leg there? Man.
The Lamborghini leg lock. You hate to see it.
Man, I can't believe it. These shows have also helped to boost the worldwide revenues that the firm is able to generate from its merchandise, videos, and DVDs. Gosh, they just have a hold on everyone, don't they?
And as we try to accommodate to the millennial demographic and reach out to these younger generations, we're starting to increase our users on all of our apps that can be streamed on either smartphones and tablets. So I'm sure you're out there watching this on 3 different screens, including your phone, tablet, and on the TV. So you might as well be tuning into us. And as we're trying to progress and move towards the future, we're in the steps of launching the new WWE 24/7 subscribe video on demand service, as well as thousands of hours of content consisting of highlights and exclusive new programming.
More recently, Vince's wrestling empire is facing a challenge from mixed martial arts, a growing form of combat sports that combines kickboxing and grappling. How are you going to make a match for that?
I've watched those shows before, and you know what? They're kind of gruesome. So what Vince has been trying to do as a way to gain some leverage is he's actually beginning to tone down the sex and violence within the wrestling matches and try to appeal to a new audience that shows a little bit more family friendliness.
Man, getting him with that boot stomp to the chest. So most recently, we understand that the WWE is the largest wrestling corporation in the world and holds over 500 events a year in over 150 countries worldwide. And it's also publicly traded.
So owners like you guys can hop in and try to ride the WWE train just as we are. And with that, we retain a lot of revenue from a multitude of sources such as film, music, video games, product licensing, and direct sales.
While popularity towards the WWE has been on a constant pendulum, the corporation has seen steady growth over the past several years.
Well, it looks like Brock's taking it.
Well, first we're going to talk about the threat of new entry, which happens to be low. Of course, there's high capital requirements, high sunk costs, which limits competition, high learning curve. It also has a high economies of scale and brand recognition.
I mean, the way you could compare that to was when Brock Lesnar comes from behind with The Rock and Steve Austin not even knowing it. But you saw how that turned out for him. The new entry level was very low. The Rock was just killing it in the first round. So Steve had to definitely take off that shirt that was constricting him, and I don't think the jeans were doing him justice either.
You know, another one that we can look at is the buying power, which happens to also be low. Loyal fan base is definitely there. And then the low dependency on distributors.
Just like that, I mean, I'm assuming if I can check my stats right now, we have about 35 million viewers tuning in just right now. So you can see that we have a very loyal fan base, and these people really want to stay in touch with what's going on in the WWE currently.
Yeah, true. There's also the threat of substitutions, which happens to be moderate to high. I mean, you have some brand longevity there, and then low number of substitutes. Who else are you going to watch? We have it all. And then also high product differentiation.
Since there's so many little substitutes and we offer the most, why not tune into the WWE when we have it all? And now I guess we'll go into supplier power, which is pretty low to moderate because due to the exclusive contracts, the large number of substitute inputs, which decreases the bargaining power for our suppliers, and the diverse distribution channel, such as what we're trying to attain right now with with new apps, new pay-per-view. Power for our distributors and keeps the power retained at our company.
No, you're totally right. Man, are you nailing this on the head there. So, there's also competitive rivalry, and of course, that happens to be low because we all know that there's a large industry. There's also relatively few competitors. Again, we're the ones that are producing all this stuff. We make it all happen. You're gonna watch us.
That's a good point, Corey. Single front flip to knockout.
So I don't think he's getting back up.
And now if you look over into our SWOT analysis, you can see that some of our strengths as a corporation is that we have a 35 million fan base. We broadcast on TV, internet, and apps on any form of mediums, such as on your smartphone or tablet. Our programming reaches 600 million homes wide, which is almost, half of the country right here. And we have currently in 2012, after we launched our new app for the WWE, we had 3.5 million downloads just within the first year. Our vast number of subscribers to YouTube and Hulu channels continues to increase, as well as our growing numbers in pay-per-view and video on demand.
He's actually getting back into the ring now.
He's willing to take on any fighter. But I don't think he realizes Brock's right behind him with his own dumbbell.
A few weaknesses.
Weaknesses?
I know, tell me about it. You'd think that we own everything, huh? But yep, there are some weaknesses. The main source of revenues are only due to their live performances. I mean, yeah, you can sell some hats and t-shirts, but what else are you gonna do? Of course, there's also the revenue from events merchandise only covers the cost of production. Gosh, I know, weaknesses, who thought?
I mean, with these weaknesses, there are opportunities and new places we can go in the future. And with that, with the WWE is globalized to 6 countries. And why stop there? Our majority of our fans are, aged between 12 to 34, so we can start trying to maybe attract a different demographic, especially female viewers as well. And with the Netflix growing population and the streaming population just continually increasing and less amounts of cable in people's homes, we should start forming on new mediums such as Netflix, maybe HBO, and FX now. Lesnar is getting back in the ring. But as one of our friends suggested, although we tried the football league here in America and you saw what happened with that, a new idea is maybe potentially trying an XFL league in Europe where actually American football has been on the rise. So we'll see where that goes in the future. Oh, and the ring collapsed. The cleanup crew's not going to like that one after this one's. Whew. That's going to be an expensive cost. Good thing we have the financials for it in our inventory.
Of course, there are a couple of threats, but I'm sure we can nail those down. The competition from other fighting sports like UFC and MMA, I mean, they're out there, but we've got them. We got them in the bag. The transition into new reality-based shows might lose younger viewers, but I'm pretty sure they'll eventually get on the bandwagon.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to, right?
You're totally true. Wow, they are passed out. I cannot believe this. All of them have really, really done themselves in today.
Definitely a KO for the books. The lights are flickering. Real crowd pleaser, The Undertaker. I haven't seen him in 3 years in the WWE. And now it comes down to the nitty and gritty and see where the WWE and how it's performing on a financial basis. So according to our balance sheet between the 2015 and 2016 year, which is the most current, you can see that assets has actually increased by about 18% between the 2 years, and liabilities have decreased by about 30%. But unfortunately, owner equity is substantially decreased by about 20%. But with assets increasing and liabilities decreasing, you can see that the firm is actually in a very healthy state, and while it continues to rise and save money in turn.
Yeah, I think The Undertaker is really just going to take his time on this one. Look at how he's capturing the crowd's attendance. Oh my gosh, he's really got them.
Missed this one. But it looks like everyone's kind of aware that he's here. Oh, they know you don't want to be asleep for this one.
And now moving on to the income statement, the net income has continually increased, and within the past year, it has grown by about $97,000. Wow, that's a lot. It's important to recognize that 62 cents of every dollar in sales goes to pay for COGS.
The thing about that though is, although we're paying for the cost of goods sold on a certain amount of cents per basis, you might want to compare that with our competitors. But as you can see, our competition is quite minimal, so it's much easier to see how much we're actually spending rather than we are producing. And with that, you can begin to start comparing what we have in turn based upon our ratios.
I almost want to say it's pretty much you have the 5 forces here, huh? Four guys in the ring. Wow, you really have your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats all there.
So with a current ratio of about 2.62 for the WWE, you can see that our company is actually highly liquid and makes it a strong public firm to potentially invest in, and see that we will continue to increase our profit shares each year. Macho Man and Stone Cold seem a little shook from seeing The Undertaker, and they're going to take off on this one. I don't know where they're off to, but probably a good idea they're not here. So 2-on-1 with The Rock and Brock Lesnar to try to take on The Undertaker. The inventory accounts for about a quarter of our current assets, which is still a healthy amount, as you can see by most of our assets not reflecting on what we're trying to produce or sell. And in turn, we also attain a little bit more than half the debt incurred for every dollar that we spend on any inventory.
The ring is absolutely destroyed.
That's an operating expense you won't like to have to pay later. Oh, and into the crowd! Hopefully no one got hurt on that one. That'd be a liability. We're able to turn over an entire inventory in about 6 days, as well as collect revenue on its sales for about 26 days. And in turn, if you actually keep up with the consistent market value of even in this present day, 2017, WW issues at a market value of about 6.5. So that's pretty good for NASDAQ if you ask me. The myth, the legend, the guy with the millionaire strut, Vince McMahon, and announced The Undertaker as our winner. And you love to see this, you know, a fighter that hasn't been in the ring for a couple of years come out of nowhere and just take the cake. A really David beat the Goliath story in this one.